So we are back for part two of people talking about things they have no idea about, and I wasn't I wasn't even gonna do the part one, but people really liked it. Cat, quit fucking with my mic. So I said, you want the part two, and everybody wants the part two. So here we go. Part two reaction to five people that really don't know what they're talking about. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. My one cat's excited. She's fucking with the microphone. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. All right, here we go. Where's the fucking play button?
Thing
Boom.
at all. If you see somebody posting and they're excited about their new animals, don't feel the need to question who they got it from. Oh, I don't like that fucking guy, so I'm going to make a bad comment about it. No, if you don't like it, move along. Oh, I don't like that guy. Just move along then. Don't fucking say anything, okay?
We're not saying anything. It's just everybody hits us up. So that's what's happening.
And then the last thing, guys, is realize that almost everybody that you get advice from out there has an ulterior motive. So
What? That's a really weird thing to say. That's a really weird thing to say because um I I rarely try to push sales on people unless I see something that I really think I have that can help them. I you can ask anybody who talks to me. I do not push sales, but when you're saying anybody you get advice from has ulterior motives, which that would include him. But now, see, this is what's fucked up about this Brian Whitehead guy. He sees the world as he is. So this is who he is. He has an ulterior motive. Not everybody has a fucking ulterior motive. So that's kind of a telling thing to say. Um, I wouldn't do business with somebody. I think I sold him snakes a long time ago or something. Because I mean, obviously, if I'd have known any of this, I would never have done business with this guy. I would have never even reached out and called him and talked to him about everything that went down with the whole snow shit the first round. But no, this guy, I don't know, man. I just get used car salesman's vibes from this guy, and just I think he has like a pump and dump type business model where he finds something that's hot in the reptile industry, he gets into it real heavy, fucking produces as much as he can, and then dumps that and goes on to the next project. If I had to guess what his business model is, I'd say it's that.
think a little bit about what people are telling you and what people are trying to have you believe. Some of the fucking shit.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna move my shit over here. I'm gonna move this right here so you can see some of these fucking brilliant ass comments. Because one thing I haven't been doing is making fun of the morons commenting, and I feel like I'm leaving them out. And I should probably explain how fucking stupid they are too. So, all right, we're back. We're back.
That I hear about myself right now that I haven't even had a chance to even respond to yet is so absurd and asinine. I can't even believe that anybody would fucking believe it. It's crazy. So,
Like what? That your goal is to mass produce retics and then undercut people on them? It's why would anybody say that? You only said it and did it. It's like I can't believe people are saying all this stuff about me after watching my actions. Like how can you say these things about me after watching me do those things you're saying? That's absurd.
keep those four things in mind, guys.
I don't remember what four
I just
things
kind of
were.
I jotted down some notes because I didn't want to miss shit
Sweet.
here tonight.
I'm glad he jotted down notes.
Before I dive into the actual negativity, I want to let the tail wag the dog a little bit here, put the horse in front of the cart in front of the horse. I want to talk a little bit about why I feel like the retic community is so negative. And I think this is just something I think the reason I want to talk
Quit
about
it.
it first is
Quit it.
because I think when you
Quit it.
understand the reason, it all makes a little bit more sense when I point out the
Dude, this guy has
ludicrousness of
been
some of
in
these
Retix for
comments
two
and
years, and
stuff.
he's just going to
And
answer all
honestly,
these
guys, the
questions.
number one reason is I firmly believe.
Okay, before he says anything else, remember what I just said not very long ago about him projecting himself onto the world. So he sees the world as himself, and he's going to act like, oh, this, all these people are bad. No, he sucks. It's him that sucks.
That of all reptile markets right now, and again, I've still exist in quite a few. I think that of all the reptile markets right now, there's a very strong argument to be made that reticulated pythons is the strongest, most competitive, what I call investment style market.
No, it's not. The reason if he actually believes this, which if he believes the words that just came out of his stupid face, he's even dumber than I thought. Garrett created this idea of all this money to be made in super dwarfs and then used scarcity to jack up prices and sold everything as this giant investment. I've had reptiles since 1987, and I can tell you that in the late 90s, early 2000s, when the ball python market took off, that's when reptiles really changed. Everything, it started shifting more into this industry, but it's always been kind of like this half-ass bullshit industry run by retards and morons and idiots. And it's always failed to take into consideration the fact that this is all it's all based around expendable income. And that's why you see such big ups and downs in reptiles. Like when the economy's good, reptiles are good. When the economy's bad, reptiles are bad. But I mean, whatever stupidities about to come out of his mouth, retics are not the biggest booming number one investment in reptiles. I can promise you that as somebody with however many years that is in reptiles, like almost, what is that, 36, 38, I don't, whatever, however many years that is. No, it is not retics. But it's important to understand something. He sees it as that. So if he sees it as this big investment, this big boom, he's going to try to match production for how he views it. So it means he's going to try to produce as much shit as he can if that's how he views retics.
Left in reptiles, okay? So what?
Dude, there's so many things in reptiles. Left in reptiles. See, this is also the breaking down the psychology of this person is kind of interesting because he's like left in reptiles. See, he thinks that they've all like, go back to his 4.5 hour rant on his amazing life journey in this. And he was like, well, I did dart frogs and I did chameleons and I did green trees and then I did Drymarchon, I did Pituophis. He sees these markets as booming, produces a ton of shit, thinks he sucked all the money out of it, goes to another one. Well, this is, so he's in retics because he thinks it's what's left. That's very telling about this individual. Very telling about this individual. So, and if you think like that, you don't see anything long term. If you think reptile specific markets within reptiles, daily, don't fuck with that. You're just going to keep bouncing around, and that's actually what he's actually admitted to doing. He's chasing money is what he's doing. So this guy's very interesting in how he's perceiving things, and I think as the more he talks, the more he's going to expose himself. So this should be fun.
Does an investment style market in reptiles means? Okay, basically what this means is when you buy an animal, breeders are selling you on the promise of basically more money. Okay, you buy a $5,000 retic and you breed it to another $5,000 retic. Those breeders are selling you think you're going to make the world's first or the world's highest blood percentage of this. Okay, you're always fucking chasing something. Okay, in these investment competitive markets,
Unless it's strictly a pet breeding, you're always chasing something. And you should always be chasing something. Not necessarily stupid world's first that look like garbage, but you should be chasing smaller sizes. Should be chasing genetic outcrossing. You should be chasing polygenics. You should be chasing high aesthetic value. You should be chasing a sustainable market. So, yeah. But a lot of he's not lying when he says a lot of breeders sell you these ideas of, you know, high money, and we saw a ton of that out of Garrett in Superdorfs. You know, he just applied the world's first morph nonsense to localities, and you know, maybe this guy's going to come in and say, oh well, you know, that's whatever, but I'm going to come in and I'm going to be the good guy, and we're going to mass produce and just sell it cheap. So, you know, I'll be the honest person that says, you know, oh well, this isn't right. So this is clearly his game plan, is to see this market as an investment, kind of a bullshit investment, and mass produce and undercut, but be the good guy in the process.
And you're sold on the idea then that you're going to create something that's worth even $25,000, even more than those $5,000 that you spent on each of your animals. Okay. So you get into this market looking at it, thinking basically the breeders are selling you on the idea of making money. Okay. And that's great. There is money to be made in these markets and these big dollar animals and stuff like that. There is something to that. But what you got to understand is that does absolutely drive competitiveness, right? And that competitiveness drives people into the market. People like myself who look at this market as somebody that, for one, I love the fucking retics. The only reason I got into it is because of the first retic I ever got. But also somebody that looks at this market as a potential market that can be used to make some money.
So, by his own admission, he looked at retics as a potential moneymaker, but he loves retics. So, what is he bringing? What is Brian Whitehead bringing to the table in terms of sustainability, outcrossing, polygenics, selective breeding? Something tells me you don't got much of a fucking plan.
The problem is, what people don't understand and fail to realize is that in this type of competitive market, the price and value of animals also drops like an absolute fucking rock. Okay. And it's obvious. It's ball python 101, right?
No. The prices drop for specific reasons. The reason Ternates, Halmas, Mindanaus are the same price since 2018 is because there's actually a couple reasons. One, they're not daily. Do not fuck with that. They're not being overproduced. And here's something else that's actually kind of new to retics, that my stuff is bringing to the table. In the last episode of Reacting to Retards, I talked about how so much stuff was based around scarcity, and the higher the supply, the less the scarcity, so the price is going to naturally come down that way. So, and that means, God damn it, Daily, I'm going to have to throw my cats out of my bedroom. Daily, quit that. And my snakes are bringing another aspect and component to breeding. They're having more of a inherent intrinsic value in a way that a lot of this other stuff in retics hasn't before, because the thing that my snakes are bringing to the table now is they have an inherent value of making things look better. And we were hoping to get that intrinsic value out of morphs, but we really never did, because it turned out morphs can't make themselves look better. You need secondary traits, you need polygenic traits, you need whatever's going on with all the in a gene cluster with super genes. So but that's what my stuff is actually bringing to the table these days, is like, oh hey, like, no, these have an intrinsic value the same way a superdwarf has the intrinsic value downsizing the overall size of an animal and making it more manageable. So I think that's worth pointing out. But I've said before that this Brian Whitehead guy is like, this is he wants to pump and dump, man. Like he said it's one of like the last big investment. So what's he want to do? He wants to come in, and he's explaining correctly why stuff will drop prices to some extent. But I mean, the real reason is it's because they're based on scarcity, and and supply offset scarcity. So I mean, that's the real reason they come down. But he's going to, the more this guy talks, the more he exposes himself as who he is.
Invest in this new gene, and when it first comes out, there's hardly any of them, and there's certainly not a bunch of breeder sized animals. As more of those animals reach breeder size, and more breeders, proper breeders, get them in their hands and start producing them, that drives the price down, and it drives the price down really, really, really fast. So I will compare this to,
well, also making stuff that doesn't look good. This is why I've always ran my mouth about selective breeding. You got to selectively breed, because the thing that's killing prices even worse than production numbers is a deterioration of aesthetics. And we saw that in that Ocelot Jag Motley. Like that snake's not doing any favors to the mainland market. It's going to actually hurt prices. So he's failing to mention that aspect too.
To a non-investment style market, but still what can be a lucrative market. And I think one of the best ones that I can think of is tree monitors. You will never, I promise you, ever hear a tree monitor breeder sit and sell an animal with the talk of returns in the future. It just doesn't fucking happen. That's not a message that tree monitor breeders will ever use to sell an animal. The other thing that
I hope some tree monitor people weigh in on that, because I know for a fact he got into tree monitors and then sold, and then when he produced them, he undercut people.
Think about with tree monitors, when you sell a baby, $2,000, that's been the price that they've been for about 5 years or 4 years since coming out of the COVID kind of crash. They've been fairly stable. You buy a baby, it's $2,000. If you raise a female and she gets to breeding age, she's worth a little bit more, but male's worth about the same. You're not looking at like a retic where, unfortunately, as soon as you buy that animal, that clock is running, and that value on that animal is getting less and less and less and less. Tree monitors aren't like that. You buy a baby tree monitor, 3 years down the road, you decide you don't like it, you can probably recoup 75% of your money. You do that with a retic, you'll probably recoup 25% of your money.
Depends on
Sorry,
the animal.
guys, that's just the way the markets work. And understanding that there's a difference between those markets.
Well, and that's not really how it works for localities, though. Like he's talking about the mainlands and the reach out reptile bubble. There's a whole nother section of the retic industry that doesn't work this way.
Is important. So I just want to lay that out, because as a professional and as somebody that views this,
how many times is he going to tell us he's a professional?
It's important to understand and think about the financial side of things. And certainly, I think it paints a picture of why some fucking people act the way they do. It's all about money, right? And that's what it's always about.
No, it's not all about money. The reason I'm doing this is because these people are putting out so much bad information that it's ridiculous. And as somebody, and since they're in the locality realm, I'm the one who has to answer all the goddamn questions from the people who they give this bad information to and they confuse. I'm not worried about the money aspect of this stuff. If I was worried about the money aspect of stuff, I would have got into something not retics, And there's a lot of us that are just so tired of having to, we spent all this time correcting Garrett's bullshit. We have spent all the time correcting Samson's bullshit. And now we're going to have to correct all this bullshit. It's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, monitor community is great. So, okay, so that's my opinion on the why. So I want to talk. I guess anybody got anything to jump in before I just keep rambling?
No, I was just I don't know. I don't have a different hand signal to try to queue up your the post that I was thinking you're about to read the post, right? Am I misreading
Okay. No, no, I will read the post in a minute, in just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna read it in just a second. So have it ready. So I'm gonna get into my experience, my brief experience in the retic community in just a second. But before I do, I'll just talk a little bit about my experiences in other communities. And I
Oh
will
my
be honest,
God, this guy
I
loves to
am
hear
not
himself fucking talk.
the world's most active person in all the online communities. Okay. And that is simply because I do not have time to be overly active.
You
I
also don't
would
have
rather
anything
be
to
working with
say
my animals. Okay.
about
And
retic, so you
I
can't
give people tours
participate.
all the time. I can give people tours
Oh,
anytime. I
Levi's
fucking take
clapping
great
again.
care of my animals all the time. Cages are kept immaculately clean. Cages are well sized. Things are tip top notch up here. Okay. And I work 100 hours a week almost doing that. So I have
100 hours a week. Let's run the math. Let's run the math. And I'll give him a 7-day work week too. We'll do it for both. Hold on. Something tells me I should. Would you stop licking me and biting me? Quit it. Divided by 7. So he works just over 14 hours a day if he works 7 days a week. All right. And if he works a 5-day week, obviously that's 20. He works 20 hours a day. So let's say he takes, let's be conservative and say he works 6 days a week with 1 day off. 16 hours a day. If he was working 7, he's working just over 14 hours. Do you believe that? Do you believe he's working 14 plus hours every single day? How many animals? I have a big collection of retics. It does not take 14 hours a day to take care of them all. So I just think this guy just comes off as so full of shit, to be honest.
Am not overly active in the Facebook communities. However, I do like to be involved in the communities, and I still scroll through my phone at night, and I am members in all these communities, and I see posts, and I occasionally give thumbs up and make positive comments. And when I do have something cool happen, or if I have a cool picture or something, I will share and post in these communities. And in my experience, the monitor community and like some of the Heloderma communities, I'm referring mainly to them. I'm also in like some dry marcon communities and stuff, but like the monitor communities are very helpful, but people are also kind of assholes in there too, but in an entirely different way.
Are we seeing a pattern here? Are we seeing a pattern with him just finding assholes everywhere he goes? Maybe it's not the rest of the world. Maybe it's you.
Than with the reticulated python communities. And what I mean by that is my biggest thing with monitor people is everybody knows everything on the internet, right? So I could post something, and I promise you, I will post something and I will get people telling me I'm doing it wrong. I promise you. Every time I post something, and I'm like, sorry guys, I'm not looking for recommendations. Like, I know how to breed these things. You know what I mean? So
I'm going to throw this out there. If every time you put something up that you're doing and an entire community with 100% hit rate tells you it's wrong, maybe take their opinion into consideration. I'm not saying that he's right or wrong, but I'm just saying there's a consistency there, and consistency is always worth taking into consideration.
Oh, That is my biggest thing with monitor people. That is the only negative comment I have about monitor people is everybody knows something and everybody wants to say your enclosure needs to be bigger or your hide needs to be located here, or you're using the wrong style of bulb. The difference is in that community, it's all rooted from good. These people think they're doing good. They think they're helping. One thing I've learned, and I know when doing reptiles, is there's freaking more than one way to do everything. Okay, reptiles, you don't have to be perfect either. They're somewhat forgiving most of the time. So
what the fuck does that mean?
So my experience in the monitor community is that it's generally positive. I do think people can be know-it-alls all the time, but there is not gatekeeping. There is not, hey, I don't like this breeder, so I'm gonna fucking try and make everybody think he's unethical and he's awful and stuff like that. Shit just doesn't happen. So I want to Lee or Levi, whoever's queuing up the thing here, I just want to share an interaction I had with the customer, and I remembered about this morning. Nope, not this one. This is the good one. You guys got the good one?
This is the good
one.
So,
here you go.
Hey man, just wanted to give you an update on my journey hatching Kims. We spoke. Blah blah blah. Ow, quit it. Okay, this is stupid. What the fuck does this have to do with anything?
Thank you. Okay. So I was cruising the Kimberly Rock Monitor forums. I've bred a lot of Kimberly Rock Monitors. I was cruising the Kimberly Rock Monitor forums probably about a year ago or something.
What the fuck?
No, not quite that long ago.
What the fuck does this have to do with retics?
I saw this guy post and he was exasperated and frustrated about not being able to hatch his Kims. They kept drowning in the eggs. They kept not making it out. His babies that did hatch weren't robust and would die. And he said, I must have lost a fucking 100 eggs, Kim eggs at this point. So I can't remember if I DM'd him directly or if I commented on his post and told him to DM me. But I just saw that and I knew that I had some issues with Kim eggs early on, and I'd learned a lot about Kim eggs. So I reached out to this guy, we connected, we chatted on the phone for an hour, and then we exchanged some voice clips, and I didn't hear from him for like 6 or 8 months. And that's the way it goes. Like, hopefully buddy's doing better. And then out of nowhere, just the other day, I got this. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Well, it wasn't the other day. You can see there in October, I got this message, but I hadn't talked to the guy in 6 or 8 months. And it just says this: hey man, just wanted to give you an update on my journey hatching Kims. Since we spoke, I've taken all of your advice, and while I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, I have hatched out 12 Kims, 3 different clutches with 0 issues. I will never be able to thank you enough, but I hope to one day get to meet you and thank you in person. You single-handedly helped me in a way you'll never understand. I don't know what else to say. I'm so fucking happy, man. Thank you. I'll forever remember this. I hope you achieve the highest level of success in life, brother. Okay. So I just point that out because I'm about to transition
Levi's
to
clapping.
my interaction. So keep this interaction from somebody that just so happy at the help I gave him in the Kimberly communities that I, frequently am involved in, to my experiences to the retic community. So
well, you did something positive in the monitor community, and you did something negative in the retic community. So why would you not expect the results you got? Like, you didn't do anything positive in retics. Before he says anything, he went out, he put some snows online. They didn't sell right away, so he cut their prices in half, and people jumped him about it. And then he was a dick about it and was like, I'll fucking crash all these markets. I'm going to put them up even cheaper, $1,000. Like, he was a total asshole about it. And he's like, well, this is the reaction I get. Yeah, when you act like an asshole, people say you're an asshole.
I bred my first retics in April of this year. Okay. And the first clutch I produced was a clutch of snows. Okay. And we're going to get to this in a second. You guys can read this now and think about it while I'm talking or whatever, but you can leave it up there. It's totally fine. So I posted my first clutch of snows in Morph Market.
And I have it. I got to pull it up on my phone. But this This was put out by a lot of different people, not just Coiled. I had a slightly different version put out because there was something that I said, and Brian Watkins and him threw a big. Would you stop it? Threw a big fit about it, and he sent me. I'll have to read you his messages. So he sent me a fucked up message that I will read here in a few. And that's actually how he responded and what he said he was going to do, and plus based on what he did with the snow clutch, that's actually what triggered this message from all the people that put this out. It wasn't just Coiled that did it. There's upwards of 10 different people that said, hey, like this is, we're not dealing, this guy's bad for the market. He's openly saying he wants to do damage to it. He wants to destroy stuff. And that's actually what triggered this. So hopefully he explains that this was the response to him saying he's going to actively try to crash markets and reticks. So I hope he actually explains that, but something tells me he'll just fucking pretend to be a victim again.
And I think I might have posted a couple pictures of them in some of the groups or stuff. And I was excited, man. It was the first time I'd ever produced reticks. I'm still the type of person that gets fucking excited about shit like this. But I also, at the same time, didn't know, like, how's this going to go? How's the industry going to respond? Like, there's all sorts of trepidation and shit like that, even for somebody like me. So I posted these in Morph Market, and I priced them all in the $15,000 to $2,000 range, and they were 50% Super Dwarf, and they had Old School blood and Kalatoa blood. They admittedly were not the highest end snow project. They just weren't, period. So I posted them and didn't sell any for the first day. I don't think I really got any like responses or anything. And then
when I talked to him on the phone, he said he had them up for 7 or 10 days and didn't sell any. Well, and here's why I didn't sell any. One, like he said, he's not active in the retic community, so nobody knows who he is. He didn't go out of his way to explain his bloodline, and he's connected to Brian Watkins. Those are 3 things. If you're into locality reticks, you need to be active on social media. You need to be talking about your bloodlines, and you probably don't want to be standing beside Brian too much.
All of a sudden, I got notified by a couple people that somebody had started bashing me in their private Patreon, basically going on about, look at the prices on these snows from this new breeder. And then people started chiming in and like, oh God, this is the shit we worry about. This asshole's going to crash the market. So I am not the type of person necessarily to just sit back and take punches all the time. And so when I saw that, and I got notified again by a couple people, I reached out to the person that posted it in their private Patreon, and I reached out to him privately. And I think I probably said something like, fuck you, dude. Wait till you see the next clutch coming.
Yeah.
You know,
he was like, I'm just going to
myself. I honestly expected the guy to respond and maybe me.
And that's what he did. He's like, I'm just going to fucking do it worse. I'm going to make more. I'm going to crash all these markets. Like you can see there's posts, if you go and look into some of the different groups, of the shit he said back then and how he responded. So it's not, when the guy says, I'm going to fucking destroy retic markets and I'm going to mass produce, we're all going to take him at his word. And I'll read you his message to me, and what actually triggered all those people a little over a week ago to put out a message about the guy.
Me and him would like yell at each other and then come to some kind of agreement or something. Instead, the dude just continues to basically take what I said and post it in his Patreon. Yeah. And then his Patreon people continue to bash me and call me a douchebag and shit like that. And so here was my mistake. What should have I done then? I should have just fucking left. To be completely honest with you guys, I should have left the retic community, because that was my lesson then, is I should have just been like, whatever, and left and ignored it all. Instead, what I did is I decided to do what I thought was a good thing at the time and dig my heels in a little bit and paint the picture of the ludicrousness of what these people were saying when they were saying I should be selling these animals for at least $3,000 to $5,000. I had bought that pair for less than $8,000 less than 6 months before. So I made a post. I outlined the financials, And frankly, I talked about the fact that my goals and my future intents was to produce a couple hundred super dwarf reticulated pythons. Okay. We just heard Brian.
Yeah. Like this is this is what's so funny about this dude. He tells you about all these things he's gonna do, and then when he gets criticized for it, he's like, "Why are you guys being pieces of shit? Criticize me. All I want to do is produce a couple hundred super dwarf retics and then sell them and then undercut everybody. Like, you guys are assholes."
Talk about producing.
And the thing is, he wants to suck as much money out of retics as he can, dump them, and then move on to another species. That's what this guy's doing. It's been his track record. He explained his track record. He goes from one species to another.
A couple hundred super dwarf reticulated pythons. Let me make something clear, because people have taken that comment and made it out like I'm a mass producer, and that's my intent. I just want to paint a picture.
You said it was.
Okay? Last year was my first year breeding retics. I bred 3
Who
females,
is this dumb bitch?
And I got 82 babies. Okay, so let's just use an average of 25 babies per clutch.
That's
it. Only is going to take me 8 clutches to get up to 200 babies. Okay, I am a professional breeder. Part of what I do is volume. I need animals moving and stuff, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that again in a second. And
which is a retic puppy mill? If you doing mass production and volume, you that's what defines it, bro. Like, I'm sorry, because he's a professional. Like, how does this guy not realize he's just making himself look like the person we all said he was? At what point do you just stop talking and be like, you know what? It'll be so much better if I just don't say anything and I just produce some snakes.
And so anyway,
yeah, good luck on getting 25 eggs a clutch out of Superdor stuff, by the way.
My son just walked in here and distracted me.
It happens.
So I posted the financials and just kind of, I guess, argued back a little bit against these people in terms of what I thought was a bullshit call out and stuff like that. And I made a few posts about producing 200 babies in the future. And then what did people do? They just absolutely took that and basically...
They took it at face value. That's what they did. They took it at face value and reacted appropriately.
Completely ran with it, okay? So during that time, I had a bit of a life learning lesson. I went through a really not great thing. My best friend in the whole wide world, this was the exact same timing, unfortunately lost his son to cancer, his 2-year-old son to cancer. And so one of the things that him and I had a discussion about was during his son's fight for cancer, he had gotten in a really big fiasco at his work with somebody that was supposed to be his friend that had basically fucking backstabbed him. And the long story short is he invested a ton of emotional energy and time into this guy. And I remember he would tell me about it. Can you believe this guy? We would talk about it for an hour at a time. And I understood he was mad. He was frustrated. Okay. So about a month later, we're talking and I asked him for an update on that situation. And he goes, you know what, man, I don't fucking care. He said, me and that guy, I don't think we'll ever be great friends again, but I'm not mad at him anymore. I don't care. And I said, that's pretty big of you, man. And he goes, well, look, here's the thing. Here's what I realized a week ago. My kid was in a good cycle of his treatment while all that drama shit was going on. And I spent 15 fucking hours that week complaining to people on the phone and complaining about this guy and being emotionally detached from my son when I could have been playing with him. And now my son's getting chemo like hell. He can't talk. He can't keep food down. And he ended up, unfortunately, passing away a few months later. So I had a big learning lesson
this is kind of a
that
inappropriate
shit
story
was worth
for
my fucking
this.
time and my emotional frustration, because it did affect me big time. When you
Why?
pour what I've poured into my business, I had
What emotional fucking investment does he have? He said he bought snakes for $8,000. 6 months later, he bred them and got a clutch. What is he? He's not invested in retics, like all of us are. Oh my god.
views on why what I was doing was right, and I felt like what I was doing was right. And part of those views are in the fact that I think Super Dwarf should be becoming more available to people and not less available. It's the mainlands that should be less available. Okay,
There you go, mainlands.
To sit there
Brian
and hear
Whitehead's
people
coming for you.
slam my business did affect me personally, but going through that event also told me, like, this is not fucking worth your time or energy. So
well, Jesus Christ, you're putting a lot of time and energy into it on this podcast. He could have talked half the amount of time and said the same amount of shit.
Made a decision 6 or 8 months ago that I am done with the retic community. I'm done with it. I'm not involved in it. I remember Brian Watkins asked me to be an admin of the group he created, and I said, I can, but I'm not really planning on being involved in the retic community. And here's the thing, guys, that's not a great thing for anybody. I went 3 for 3.
No, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Based on the amount of misinformation he said on this and his stupid ass take on bloodlines, lineage, yeah, no, we do not need another person in the retic community putting out dumb information. So I'd say it's actually pretty amazing that he's not participating.
The first year I bred, I have quite a bit of reptile breeding experience. I love to fucking help people. Okay, I'm also proud of the shit that I.
Is this guy bragging because he bred 3 retics? Like, he went out and bought like breeder adults, and a 5-year-old could breed retics. Literally if the 5-year-old doesn't get killed by the retics, they could breed them.
Shunning away someone like me is not good for a community.
It's fantastic for the community. Everything he's laid out about his business plan, about how he sees the retic community, he's everything that all us long-term people that have put in all this time and have tried to create sustainable bloodlines and has tried to put out good information and has tried to improve snakes by selective breeding, by downsizing. He's everything. He's the antithesis of all our hard work. That's what this guy is. So it would be, so yeah, yeah. Not having him in this is best case scenario, and he needs to take these 4 fucking idiots with him.
I am not a bad guy. I fucking promise you that. Promise you that. Talk to.
How many? If you have to try to convince people you're not awful, you're probably awful. I'm just saying.
Anybody in the monitor community. It does not take any legwork to figure this out. Okay. Instead, what I decided is I'm fucking done. I'm out of the retic community, and I don't want anything to do with these people. I will sell my animals. I will post on my own private page, and I will let my animals talk for themselves. Okay. That is what I did for 6 or 8 months. Okay. So why am I here again? How are we here again? Okay. And why am I addressing this? Because I feel like I shouldn't be, kind of, right? Like that's kind of the stance I took. But here's the thing. I want things to get better. I want to do good in the community. I want new keepers to not get
clapping again, buddy. Oh, round of applause.
By these other people and these negative thoughts and stuff. So here's how I got drugged back in, okay? After saying nothing and being silent for 6 or 8 months, and you guys can figure that out. Go look in all the groups. I didn't post shit for 6 or 8 months. Nothing, okay? If anything, it was a thumbs up to somebody or a, hey, good job, or hey, that snake looks great. That would be the only thing, and it was probably only 5 or 6 times. Okay, well, about a week or 2 ago, I'm minding my own damn business, And out of nowhere, and again, it wasn't one person either. It was multiple people.
It was a lot of people.
In a matter of
yes.
24 hours, I get notified by multiple people, hey, I don't know if you know this, but there's this guy in this other retic group that is just absolutely bashing you and your company, okay? And I had no idea. Like, I was like, oh, great. What the fuck is this all over again? So lo and behold, I get wind of the comment. And admittedly, I read the comment.
Who are these people?
And I was pissed because it was very bad shit. It was just absolute. It was things that were absolutely berating me and my company, basically making me out to be an unethical breeder, piece of shit, can't hold his animals, needs to flip stuff, just all a bunch of lies. Okay. And the thing that pissed me off is it was posted by a person that I had discussed and talked on the phone with during my first fiasco 6 or 8 months earlier.
Which was me. And all I did was post what he told me in our phone call. I came away from that phone call thinking exactly what he's saying his business model is, which is produce a shit pile of retics because there's a market and I'll come in underneath everybody. All we're doing is saying what he's saying he's going to do. All right, and you got the three retards up top. You got the biggest troublemaker in retics, which I don't know, that might actually be me. I don't know, maybe Brian's second, but Brian's a troublemaker in a much different capacity than I am. And then you got this guy coming in who just does not care. Just went out and bought a bunch of breeders because he thinks it's the last strong market in reptiles. And well, we'll get into it. I'll read you what he said because I guarantee he's going to fucking downplay the message he sent me.
My discussion with that person 6 or 8 months earlier was a perfectly fine discussion. I even have the follow-up text I sent him that I could share with everybody. And during the discussion, we disagreed on some things, but it was a fine discussion. And I said, and I even followed up and I said, hey man, glad we could talk. I know we don't agree on everything, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, well, it was a fine discussion. The problem was I walked away from that discussion thinking he's exactly who he's portraying himself to be. I mean, I remember I called Andrew and I called a couple other people and I was like, dude, I just got off the phone with that Brian Whitehead guy. Like, he does not care about the market. He does not care about these localities. He flat out told me he's got a family to feed and he's going to sell snakes at whatever prices he needs to sell them. And, he even took he's like, I got your bloodlines too. It's like, okay, how many people have tried to threaten me because they have my bloodlines? It's like, okay, all right. So you'll be the one that takes me down. Okay. But yeah, it was just, I just got sleazy fucking scumbag vibes, and it was a perfectly fine conversation. But unfortunately, everything he said to me in that conversation suggested what he's saying now, that his business model is strictly numbers. It's not about sustainability. It's about seeing these high prices up here and knowing if I produce a bunch of these and come in low, I can dump them on the market. That's his business. It's literally his business model. Have you noticed he has not once, he's talking about he's professional and passionate, loves these animals. What's his favorite locality? What's his favorite morph? What's his long-term goals for improving color and pattern? Ask anybody that's serious about this. They can tell you what their plan is. Have you noticed he hasn't mentioned? Have you noticed that none of these people have actually talked about how they're trying to make the retic market better? They're just talking about production numbers. They're not talking about selective breeding. They're not talking about using super dwarf shit to make shit smaller, using other localities to make them look better, keeping lines pure. They're not talking about any of that. They're just talking numbers. That's it. Just gonna do numbers, and we're gonna pump them out. We're gonna get them out there. That's it.
Again, people, I have all this shit in my phone. I have all the fucking receipts. Okay. When I saw that message that person had done, I admittedly reached out for the first 12 hours. I didn't do anything. I took the high road and I was like, I'm just going to ignore it. Fuck it. I don't care. But then I woke up the next morning and something else pissed me off and I was in a bad mood. And so I picked up my phone and I messaged the person and I said, fuck you. Okay. The Halmahera Ternate projects you're working, I'm working them now too. Okay. That's what I said. All right. That's all I said in the fucking text.
Okay. That's all he said. We're going to go ahead and read that text. We're going to read that text right now. Since he's saying that's all he said, we're going to see what all he said. And I don't really feel like editing this. I've already posted this publicly because if I want to put this into the screen, then I got to go into fucking. If anybody wants this personally, I'll send it to them. I just don't want to spend the extra time putting this in DaVinci and having to find this specific spot. Hey man, all I have to say is fuck you. That is an excellent way to start a message. And you are an idiot. God damn it, phone. Come on, quit being an asshole. I had no real interest in stupid Halmahera and Ternate projects. I have high percentage animals of both, but wasn't really planning much with them. Where the fuck did he get high percentage? Like, this is how stupid this guy is. He's going to run his fucking mouth to the guy that started all this stuff. He has high percentage Halmas? What the fuck? Well, there's only 2 types of Halmas in the country. There's pures, and there's a handful of 50%ers. Aubrey and that dude he did that breeding with did the marbles, and I did the platies. That's all that's ever been done. So there's 50% and 100%. So I'm really curious what all these high percentage, because high percentage is 75 or above. Those don't fucking exist, Brian. And there's hardly any high percentage Ternate stuff out there. There's only a handful of high percentage, 75%, or more. I don't really consider, like 62 is decently high, but like I consider 75. So yeah, that's his first bullshit. He says, now I'm going out of my way to pick up some pures of each. I hope you're confident that none of your customers you've sold pures to will let them go for, say, $20K, which I already read this. So he's going to say this is how fucking stupid he is. He's telling me he's going to go out and spend $20K on animals worth $2,500 or $5,000. So that's an excellent, I don't know, as a professional business person, that's not really good system there. Anyways, you're a clown. I'll go out of my way to fuck up your projects in any way I can now. You should learn to keep people's name out of your mouth. It would keep you from some headaches. I'm not an asshole, and I haven't talked shit about you to anyone, but that all changes now. And how can... He's still mad at me about the snow shit, which I didn't even start. And how can one clutch of snows crash a market, you fucking moron? He said a little bit more than I have Halmas and Ternates. If anybody wants a message, I'll send it to him. So, and what they're going to do is they're going to bring up that post from Coiled. And when the original shit started with him, and I called him because I did think people went after him a little heavy on the snow stuff, but I also thought he kind of brought the prices down a little bit. And there's a whole other thing of, the prices were already a little too high and they were going to come down, but I mean, he didn't need to do that. But, and then Lucas, I think, was the one that started all that shit publicly. And, and there might be a follow-up funny situation that come out of this too. So when people saw how he acted and how he talked and how he said he was basically going to crash the market, then he comes on here and explains that he's just going to fucking produce tons of stuff and it's the last stronghold investment, and he wants to make them more available, which means cheaper than other people's prices. And you see what he says. So he says, I'm going to actively try to destroy a section of the retic market, meaning Halmas, Ternates, my bloodlines. The thing is, Halmas, Ternates, Mindanaos, those are the strongest, most stable thing in retics. That's why they haven't changed price in 8 years. They're the same price they were 8 years ago. I think that's the only time that's ever happened in retics. And they have an inherent value in that outside of being pure, you can breed them into other stuff, downsize, and create better colors and patterns. They bring polygenic super genes, and downsizing to the table. They have an inherent value, unlike a morph that's based on scarcity. So as everybody's moving forward and learning more in the retic community, especially the new people, the old people are still fucking idiots and just making stupid shit. But all the newer people are all based like, hey, let's base this around selective breeding, polygenics, all of that stuff. So he comes in and already saying he wants to basically crash markets, already has done some shitty things and said some shitty things. He says, I'm going to destroy the last stronghold in retics, which are bloodlines that have held price for 8 years. A lot of people have these animals and are very excited about working with them. So when I put that out there that he was going to do that, well, how happy do you think people were already mad at him from the shit he pulled with the snows? So how happy do you think people were with him when he comes out and says, hey, you know this one section of the retic market that's still stable? I'm going to fuck that up. I'm going to fuck that up because somebody criticized me and said, hey, this guy is going to just produce a ton of shit and sell it cheaper to make money, which he said that's what he's going to do. We've seen him do it. So, and it's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what do you expect people to do when you come in and say, I know you guys have all put in a lot of work, but I'm going to fuck that all up for you? What do you think people are going to say? You think they're going to like you? See, this is somebody who he pretended like he was taking a little bit of responsibility. Then he turns around and lies about the message that he sent me. All I said was I've had Helmas Eternates. No, you said you were going to fucking destroy him. You know, Aubrey tried that shit. How'd that work out? Garrett and Samson tried that shit. How'd that work out?
That's it. Okay? And then I blocked the person because I didn't ever want to fucking talk to him again. Okay?
Okay.
So.
I don't think he blocked me. Let's find out. Maybe he did. I don't know. Where's it at? Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. Where the fuck? Where's this idiot at? It has to be down here somewhere. Brian. There we go. We'll see if he blocked me. He might have. Profile. Nope, he did block me. I can still message him, though. I should send him a message, see how he's doing. I should send him a message, see how all his high percentage Halmas are doing.
That is literally the entire interaction of what happened this last time, and that is all I did.
No, all you did was say, I'm going to mass produce things and fuck up the market more. That's what you said. I just read what you did, dude, and read what you said. And if you tell me you're going to do something, don't get mad at me for putting it out there, and don't get mad at other people for getting mad that you're trying to fuck everything up.
Period. Okay? And then this is what has followed, and this is what is circulated in a bunch of different groups that I have not responded to yet. Haven't commented on, haven't talked to anybody except for I messaged somebody that runs a group about this when it showed up in the group, and I wasn't able to respond to it. So him and I had a discussion about it, but other than that, I haven't discussed this with anybody. But go ahead and cue that bad boy up for me if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah. As a retic breeder, I support responsible breeding and selling of retics. I respect the retic industry and all the hard work the breeders put into it. I respect the retic market and pricing. I respect the dedication to working with localities and understanding the importance of them. Because of that, I will not be supporting or doing business with High Desert Herbs Brian Whitehead in any way. With his recent decision to do everything he can to destroy locality retics, I denounce his actions and behavior. It shows a total lack of respect for retics and the reptile industry as a whole. His past behavior suggests he doesn't care about retics, the market, bloodlines, or well-being of animals. Because of his willingness to ruin what we all work so hard to achieve, I feel the need to address this publicly. I will not be doing any business with him in any way, nor do I wish to have any of my retics or bloodlines bred
As a result, I just want to throw this out there too. I saw this posted by more than one person.
Yeah.
Okay? I saw this posted by multiple
Yeah,
people.
a bunch of people posted this because you're trying, you said your goal is to destroy the last sustainable part of retics, dude. And if you can't understand why that didn't piss people off, and the problem is he's acting like this is out of nowhere. No, Coiled, Ryan, Mason, a bunch of people posted this. Dax actually had Spencer asked him to post it in Retic Pursuit to let people know about it. Because nobody's happy about that. Nobody's going to be happy about the idea of this guy who just got into retics 2 years ago wants to come in and undercut everybody and destabilize the last stable part of the retic industry. But the problem is he's lying and not telling you what he actually said his plans were, but I read it to you.
Okay. As a retic breeder / keeper, I support responsible breeding and selling of retics. I respect the retic industry and all the hard work that breeders put into it. I respect the retic market.
Fast forward this a little bit there.
And nor do I wish to buy, I think it's any of his animals or something like that. Furthermore, with his admission of malice intent, I cannot validate, corroborate, or verify any claims he makes of any localities or bloodlines he has. To mass produce retics to intentionally crash the market with no regards for the retics he's selling is wrong. This will lead not only to the suffering of retics, but will also hurt the retic industry. Someone who is willing to inflict this much suffering on animals, I have to assume is also willing to lie about localities, bloodlines, and percentages. I will have to assume everything they are doing for the purpose of harming the retic industry. He announced a year or so ago he was going to crash the snow project on purpose, and now he's going out.
He did say that. He did. It was like, fuck you guys. I'm going to fucking... Yeah, he was a total dick
For
about
localities. I support other breeders and keepers in this space too much to stay silent. People have put too much work, effort, passion, and love into their animals and business to be negatively impacted by someone who does not care. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so the first thing I want to say, and Lee, I'm going to ask you to pull that back up for me, or Levi, whoever's controlling that, okay? The first thing I want to say is, if you were somebody that posted this, or even if you were somebody that thumbs up this, or gave it a positive
Make some more
comment
enemies,
or something
retard.
like that, you should be fucking embarrassed, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Why? When you said you were going to do this, dude, let's reiterate. Now I'm going out of my way to pick up some pures. I hope you're confident, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you're a clown. I'll go out of my way to fuck up your projects in any way I can now. Okay. There you go. Can I read that? There you go. Right there. Right there. See, the problem is all these people are working with these bloodlines. They're all intermixed. Turn 8 is in so much stuff, and there's so many people getting ready to use Halma for stuff. Mindanao is being used for a lot of stuff now. You know, you have this huge potential in Halmahera, and he says, I'm going to fuck it up. Well, when you tell me you're going to fuck up Halmahera and Turnates, you're telling a lot of people you're going to fuck up Halmahera and Turnates. So, of course, people are going to react to this like they are.
Okay. Everything in this statement is false, and it's all fluff. And I'm going to go through it line by line and one by one and talk about it. But the fact of the matter is, guys, you can't just make a bunch of fucking wild ass comments that are completely false about somebody as a breeder. And you'll notice that most of what's in here, none of it is real. It's all just like feelings. None of it is actual like facts or anything. It's like, this guy's bad and this guy's unethical. And in my mind, this is like Samson level shit. He's trying to portray me as Samson.
No one's trying to portray you as, like, dude, I like how they use the boogeyman Samson as like, they're just trying to use Samson to get at me. No, that's not what anybody's doing. Everybody's saying, based on your past behavior, your current behavior, and the behavior you said you're going to engage in, this is why this stuff gets posted. We see you as unethical. We see that you don't give a shit about the animals. We see you could care less about localities, bloodlines, any of it. You publicly said the shit about Crash and Purples and Snows, and you privately sent me a message saying you're going to fuck up the Halma and Ternate market. What do you want people to do? You said you're going to do this, and the only way you can do it is by breeding at an unethical level and fucking crashing markets. So, you know, Aubrey threatened to do it, but he didn't do it. You know, I honestly don't think he ever really had any plans to. Maybe he did, I don't know. But, you know, everybody was much more likely to think this Brian Whitehead would actually do something like that, you know, over, say, someone like Aubrey. You know, Samson would have, but he probably killed that Ternate.
Whoever is spreading this message. And guys, that is not fucking okay.
Then don't say you're going to hurt the industry intentionally because you're mad that somebody pointed out you're doing shitty things. Somebody was like, hey, this guy's got a shitty business model. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm going to have an even shittier business model. And then he gets mad for people saying, well, no, he's a piece of shit.
Like I said, I have worked my ass off to build this business. I respect my animals. I respect every reptile community I'm part of, okay? Can you pull that up just again, Lee? And I'm just going to go through a couple more things, and then I'm almost done, guys. I promise.
Fucking thank God.
So I'm going to start in paragraph 2 here, okay? Because I don't really give a shit about that first paragraph. I will not support.
The most important paragraph he doesn't give a shit about. Let's read that again. Let's. The crux of this is like the ethical aspect of it, and he's like, I don't give a shit about this. As a retic breeder keeper, I support responsible breeding and selling of retics. I respect the retic industry and all the hard work breeders put into it. I respect the retic market pricing. I respect the dedication to working with localities and understanding the importance of them. And he just, this is why people don't like you. You just said you don't give a shit about that. Well, that's what everybody that doesn't like you gives a shit about.
Doing business with HDH in any way, with his recent decision to do everything he can to destroy the locality retic industry, okay? That sentence alone is fucking insane.
Let's see how insane that is. Let's see how insane it is. Now I'm going out of my way to pick up some pures, and I hope you're confident that none of your customers you sold to would let them go for, say, 20,000. Anyways, you're a clown. I'll go out of my way to fuck up your projects in any way I can. Guess what my projects are? Localities. And guess who's also working with my projects? Everyone is working with my bloodlines.
That is.
And you said you were going to go out of your way to, and I quote, fuck up your projects any way I can now.
It's an insane sentence to mutter, okay? When and where did I ever say anything about destroying the locality retic industry? The only thing I said was that I'm going to breed Halmaheras and Ternates.
Right here.
Okay?
No, that's not what you said.
Put 2 and 2 together.
No, that's not what you said. You said you were going to fuck it up.
I'm a professional breeder. What the fuck do you think I'm going to do with the pair of Halmaheras that I've already obtained in the last week and a half?
I cannot wait to find out who sold them to.
I'm going to breed them and I'm going to sell the babies to people. Yeah,
you're going to sell the snakes that you produce? Oh, okay. Crazy.
Yeah, that's called competition, guys. That's not called playing an industry. Get a life, get a grip. These comments are literally insane.
These comments are based on what he said he was going to do, and they make sense. They're not insane. They're common sense reactions to what he said he was going to do. And I cannot wait to find out who sold them. I have an idea. And I have an idea they came from somebody who has been grandstanding on ethical behavior for a while, but is always desperate for money.
Literally, okay? I denounce his actions and behaviors. It shows a total lack of respect for retics and the reptile industry as a whole. Why? Because I want to work another project someone else is working?
No, because you said, how many times am I going to read this? I'll go out of my way to fuck up your projects in any way I can now.
His past behavior suggests he doesn't care about retics, the market, bloodlines, or the well-being of the animals. I'm going to address that a little more in the next paragraph, okay? Because of his willingness to ruin what we all worked so hard to achieve, I feel the need to address this publicly. How am I ruining anything for anybody?
By mass producing, crashing markets, and saying you're going to go out of your way to destroy stuff?
Okay, other than maybe I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the one fucking person that wants to breed Halmaheras and Ternates. Tell me.
The one person? Like, this is how disconnected this guy is from retics. He thinks I'm the only, like, you cannot possibly be this disconnected from retics to think I'm the only person doing it.
You know, that's a bad thing for anyone. It's not. So, continuing on, I will not be doing any business with him in any way, nor do I wish. Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about that. I don't really want to do business with these people at all anyway. Furthermore, with his admission of malice intent, again, I'm assuming that my malice intent is to keep Halmaheras and Ternates. What a...
Nope, your malice intent is, and I quote, again, I'll go out of my way to fuck up your projects in any way I can now. Malice intent.
Fucking malice intent that is. I cannot validate, corroborate, or verify any claims he makes of any localities or bloodlines he has. Okay, again, I don't give a shit, okay?
Well, you should, because your customers will.
To mass produce retics to intentionally, this is my favorite paragraph, guys. To mass produce retics to intentionally crash the market with no regards for the retics he's selling is wrong. This will lead not only to the suffering of retics, but will also hurt the retic industry, okay? There is so much wrong with this paragraph, guys.
No, that paragraph's like spot on. That is spot on. That was the, see, this was the thing that the thing that really killed Reach Out. The thing that finally put the final nail in the coffin of that fake persona Garrett created online, and now it's only like strictly new people that he can fool, is when it came out that he sent that Ternate to Samson. You know, because everybody knew, you know, like, this is just not cool. But then it came out that, like, oh, there was this whole plan to mass produce Ternate crosses to try to do damage to me. And you know, and even Aubrey made himself look bad when he was like, hey, I'm going to mass produce Halma's Ternates Phils to take out Rodney. And people were like, okay, we don't like Rodney, but we do like retics. Like, you know, like, what do you, like, how many animals are you going to throw into shitty situations to have suffer and die? You know, and Aubrey really didn't go through with any of that, but, you know, Samson would have, and I 100% believe this guy, he'll do this dude, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about this dude.
Okay, first off, I already talked about the mass producing bullshit. 200 is not fucking mass producing when we're talking retics that lay 25 eggs per clutch. That's 8 females. Again, I'm a professional, okay?
How are you a professional? You got 3 motherfucking retic clutches.
This idea that I crash markets is crazy. It is crazy. People that say that don't understand what crashing a market is, okay?
Please explain it.
I have zero interest in crashing any reptile market. I rely on these reptile markets to provide for my family. I have a lot more on the line than most people do, okay? So, this idea that I crash a market is obscene, okay? What I do and what I understand.
I can't guarantee what he's about to say next, but if I had to guess, he's going to try to make some argument to justify his willingness to come in and undercut people. Let's see if I'm right.
is as a business owner, and this is the discussion I had with that individual where he's trying to claim that I flip my animals and that I can't hold them for any amount of time. What I explained is if I produce 100 animals, I cannot hold 90 of those animals for 6 months or a year, okay?
Then you should not be breeding them. I'm not fucking one of them people that are always dick riding the woke mob on animal production. But if you produce, like, here's the fucked up thing. If you produce a clutch of retics and they hatch out, the first month or two is just getting them ready. So if you think if you hatch out 100 retics and you think they should all be sold within 6 months, you shouldn't be in retics because you don't understand this market. Because the first 2 months, the first month at least, is just getting the snake established. The second month, I'll say 1 month to get them established. To get them shed out, get them feeding. So that gives you 5 months to sell 100 snakes. That's a snake, what, almost every other day? You should be selling a retic. What is he even saying? So 5 months. So you should be selling 20 retics a month? From just guaranteed selling them 20 a month? If they're all the same thing, that's not going to happen. You better have five or six different clutches of different shit if you want to even come close to hitting that. This guy has no understanding of the retic industry at all.
To have cash flow, okay? So
because he needs cash flow.
Have a boutique breeder produce one clutch. They want to get every single dollar for their animal, and that's their right. Okay, they can hold out until they get the buyers that they want and need. That's not exactly how a bigger business works. I have made the decision long ago. I would way rather sell a retic for $200 or $300 less and just get things moving. Okay, that is not crashing the market, guys. That is not crashing the market. That is appealing to a certain buyer tendency. There are a ton of buyers out there that want a Motley Snow Tiger. They're going to find the cheapest one they can get. Somebody needs to fill that need, okay?
Everything he's saying is just corroborating the criticism the internet has for him. Everything. Get it quick. Dude, no selective breeding. No worrying about bloodlines. No anything. Just produce it, sell it cheaper. This is why everybody sees him as unethical, because of everything that comes out of his mouth.
Okay? And guess what? I produce more than a lot of people, so maybe that's going to be me that fill that need, okay? That is entirely different than crashing a market, guys, and people need to understand that.
When your business model is to produce as much as you can and undercut as much as you need to get to sell, that's kind of crashing a market. I mean, are we going to really pretend like his business model isn't a market crasher? Okay, now I'll give you a good example. Say, pick a snake, we'll say it's $2,000, right? That's just the general market price. He comes in, produces a bunch of them, however many, pick a number. He sees they're $2,000. He wants to sell. So he drops his to $1,700. Everybody else on the market is like, fuck, it's only $250. I put a lot of time into this. Mine look better. Mine, I can trace back all the bloodlines, blah, blah, blah. Fuck it. I'll match $1,750. His business model, what's his business model tell him to do? Shave another $250 off. So now it's $1,500. Or maybe he shaves off even more this time. Maybe he shaves off $500. So that snake market, whatever it was, that was at 2,000, he drops to 1,750. The rest of the market comes down to meet him. His business model says, I need to move snakes. I need to come in lower. Kicks another 500 off. Now they're at 1,250. Now this snake, now that market has lost almost 50%. Almost 50%. It's lost 62, or what would that be? 38.5% of its market value, just from his business model on just that specific animal. And what if they match his 1,250? What if the market comes to meet his new price? Now he's at 1,000, sub 1,000. His method is a 100% market crashing method. This is a horrible model. Horrible model.
Okay. People talk about how I crashed the snow market last year. That is the most absurd thing ever. For one, I produced one clutch of snows. Guys, it is not.
How many eggs, buddy?
To crash an established market by breeding one clutch. Okay.
If there's only 20 snows, hold on. We're gonna do some motherfucking math here. Let's get on Morph Market right now and take a look at some stuff. All right, go. We're good on Morph Market. Here we go. Here we fucking go, motherfuckers. I have a message. And I will read that message later. Come on, dude, this fucking website fucking sucks dick. I cannot wait for King Snake. Let's type in snow. This better not take. I hate how this works. Sort. No, filter. You know, there's so much stuff on Morph Market that it should be easy, but it makes it hard. Have you noticed that? Like, you try to do something simple, and it's just like a nightmare. Snow. Okay. Why? I hate this more. I hate this fucking. Hate this. Ugh. Trait. Let's go with anner. I'll just type in annery. Go with anathoristic, which is which. Go 74. Okay, snow. So there's not a ton on here, right? There's some snows. Hold on, I'll tell you how many. I'll give a quick count. Time me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's labeled a snow but doesn't look like a snow. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23. Come on, you piece of shit. Fucking hate this website. 23. I don't know. We're going to say there's 30 because this website's being a piece of shit. We'll say there's 30, right? And just for the sake of argument, we'll say there's 40. We'll say there's 40 on fucking Morph Market. So there's 40. And let's say they're all roughly the same price. He gets a clutch of 20. He increases the amount of snows available by 50%. Supply goes up 50%. And to say the market average was 25, he drops it to 12. Those 20 snakes are enough to crash that. They are enough to drive down prices significantly. So, I mean, this idea that he can't crash markets with a single clutch. Yeah, if it's a big enough clutch, you can. You can't crash it with a single animal, but you can crash it with 20 if there's only 40 available. You know, so, I mean, it's ridiculous what he's claiming here.
I also sold every single snow that I had for between $1,200 and $2,000. Okay. I sold them for a lot more than I've seen ones go on Morph Market lately. I did not crash the market on snows. That is all a bunch of made up bullshit, people. It's craziness. Okay. Anyway, Lee, pull that bad boy back up. I'm almost done.
Oh, thank Christ.
And then you guys can chew on it and call me crazy, whatever you want. Okay, someone who is willing to inflict that much suffering on animals, I have to assume is also willing to lie about localities, bloodlines, and percentages. I will have to assume everything they are doing is for the purpose of harming the retic industry. A lot of assumptions there. One other thing I just want to clarify, guys.
Well, what assumption do we have to make? Like, what other assumption can people make here? If you're willing to produce a bunch of snakes to just move out, if you're willing to, let's go back and read our favorite message. I'll go out of my way to fuck up projects in any way I can now. Well, you can mass produce them. You can lie about bloodlines. You can lie about percentages. You can lie about all kinds of stuff. Any way I can. Not, I will fuck up your projects, but I will never lie and I will always be honest. He doesn't say that. Now, does he? Do you see that? Do you see that right there? Hold on, let me. Yeah, can the camera read that? Right there? Oh. No, it doesn't say that, Brian. It says you're going to do whatever you can to fucking fuck them up. And all these people are working with it. And now you wonder why they all think you're a piece of shit.
Again, I'm a professional. The records I keep.
We should have, if I would have known he was going to say I'm a professional this much, we would have had some sort of like drinking game we could have played. That'd have been fun. I don't drink anymore, but you guys could have drank.
Are better than just about anybody else I've ever met. Okay, I don't buy animals without records. I have the bloodline records that everybody else claims.
No, he doesn't have the bloodline records that everybody else claims. Because I know he doesn't, because one, I lost the paperwork on some of the shipments of Halma, so I don't even have the invoice on all of them because I fucking lost some of them. I lost like 10 fucking invoices. I haven't been able to find them. Two, I've never sent out the invoices on the Halmas. So if he has Halmas, he does not have. I have some of the invoices here. I know I have the invoice for my male. I can't remember if I still have the invoice for the shipment of my female, because I don't know what the fuck I did. I had a big stack of them and I lost some of them, and I've been trying to find them for like 2 years. Hopefully I can find them, because I was trying to track down track down the specific invoice for a specific Sola shipment. But no, he doesn't have that shit. Two people have that shit, me and Wolfgang. He doesn't have fucking shit.
Just so you know, a lot of the records that people claim to have are made up bullshit anyway. But I'm not in here fucking, I don't know what snake this is. We'll throw them in with that, and then I'll just figure out what they are when they hatch. Guys, that's not how I run my business, man. I'm a professional. To think that that's how things go is crazy. So this muddying of bloodlines and shit, everything I have is got records, and I share.
That was a bad idea for him to say he's got records. Because if somebody calls him on this, like Levi accidentally called him on, say, give us an example of why you're saying that it's better to name a bloodline after the importer. He's going to find himself he's going to be making another fuck face.
The records to my fullest of knowledge with every single snake that I sell. Okay. So last one, he announced a year or so ago he was going to crush the snow project. I already talked about the absurdity of that.
You publicly said you were going to, and swore at everybody and was a dickhead.
Comment. I support other breeders and keep the space. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So the rest is just more fluff. So guys, I guess this is kind of my almost, again, my final plea. Like there is a big part of me that is like, this community is not even worth interacting with and involving in. My animals will sell themselves. And I'm not trying to be an asshole or a conceited prick, but guys, it's just the way business works and the market is. But honestly, that's not the way I want to approach this. And that
then don't run your business in a way that fucks over everybody. Don't run your business in a way that says what everybody else is pricing it at, I have to undercut it. Don't send me messages saying you're going to fuck up the only stable part of retics. Do something other than that.
That's why I felt like this was the right podcast to come on, because
what other podcast were you going to go on? Nobody likes you or wants you on their podcast.
Believe in the message that Bill and Lee and Levi are trying to get out.
What's that message? That they're fucking clueless and just make stuff up and have no idea what they're talking about? What is their message other than, we're going to do podcasts about retics and say stupid shit like, the reason they didn't know what localities the Superdorfs were is because the exporters just wrote Superdorf on the bags. They're just making shit up. And that's the whole reason I fucking gave them shit. Because when these people put out bad information, it's all us breeders that have to correct it and get asked all these stupid ass questions. Constantly. It's been going on for years. And I don't even think Triple Threat realizes how they're being viewed. They're being viewed as a headache. That's actually how they're being viewed. It's like this giant ass headache that we're all going to have to deal with because they're saying stupid shit, and you got all these morons in the chats fucking jacking them off. Oh, you guys are amazing. Oh yeah, tell us something else that's not real.
Out there, and I've worked with Brian, and I've seen Brian's fucking name dragged through the mud too, with equally as ludicrous bullshit. It's all negative bullshit, guys. It's all spin. It's all to try and paint this picture of these guys aren't good breeders. Don't buy from them. Okay. It's all about money.
That's what Brian does to us, Watkins. He tells his customers lies about us. He calls us pieces of shit and scumbags. And we just try to avoid it. Like, everything they're complaining, all the negative shit they're complaining about in retics, outside of me fucking with people, they're doing. You got Triple Threat putting out really bad information. You got Brian causing all kinds of problems. And you got Brian Whitehead just wanting to produce as much as he can and undercut as much as he has to get a sale. Like, if you want to see, like, if you're interested in knowing what the negativity is in retics, you're fucking looking at at 5 of the causes.
And that's what I truly firmly believe. And until people start like kind of waking up and thinking about, like, the fact that so many people were willing to post that statement that had never once talked to me,
they didn't need to talk to you, buddy. They're watching what you're doing and watching what you're saying. And when you say you're going to go out of your way to cause problems and overproduce and undercut, that's all they need. They don't want to talk to you. They want you gone.
Have never once met me, that have never once, don't know a single thing about me. The fact that so many people were comfortable spreading that is absurd. It's crazy.
Yeah. Right. Let me bring up something real quick. Let me jump in on you just real quick. One thing I'll say about that post is, yes, it's screenshotted to that. You can go find it in multiple groups. It's not very difficult to find.
Yeah, you don't want to tell people where to find evidence to corroborate everything I'm saying. You don't. Oh my God, this is like them talking about how they misidentify shit. Like, yeah, don't tell people. If you're trying to make an argument, don't tell people where to go find evidence for the counter argument. It's not a good way to win the argument. Let me tell you that.
there's no receipts. There's never receipts.
There's all the receipts of the shit he posted
you see some of the
last
big
year
dramas
and the thing I just read.
Catastrophic run-ins and all the shit that happens in the industry. Most of the time, there ain't receipts, bro. Like, people just believe what they hear, and it's a problem with the world. It's not just the retic community or the reptile community, for that matter, but y'all gotta do research, man. Y'all gotta look into these.
Yeah, and you know what happens when people do fucking research? They come to me, I give them actual information, and then it causes a big fight because retard Brian and these idiots gave them a bunch of really bad information. And if they go to Eric or Andrew or anybody else, they get, after these people have got all this really bad information, they reach out to other people and they find out they were lied to. They go back to these people and it turns into this big fight. It's what's been going on with Garrett. Why do you think Garrett can't participate? Why do you think Garrett's sunk so low that this is Garrett's crew now? Because he can't even participate in the retic community anymore. Because he will get called, if he says the wrong thing anywhere, he will get called out so fast, and he doesn't even, because Garrett's big business model is avoid negativity at all cost. Avoid it at all costs. So he can't, why do you think you don't see Garrett post anywhere? Because he said so much bullshit, and it all came to light, and now everybody's just waiting for him to jump on somewhere so they can call him out and be like, hey, remember that fucking snake you told me that was only going to get 6 to 7 feet? Yeah, it's fucking 10 feet now, Garrett. Hey, remember all that fucking money you told me I was going to make off of this project? Yeah, well, that's not happening. Oh, hey, you remember how you told me I was the only one buying the fucking double het pies for $14K or whatever? Yeah, no, I talked to all the other people you told that same fucking speech to. Yeah, come on. Yeah, telling people to do their research will fucking end these people. Telling people to do their research will end them because once people start doing their research, they're going to find people that are significantly more educated than these 5 individuals. You know, how long do you think it takes somebody searching to come across me? I'm the largest single source, private source of free retic information in the United States. Go to my website if you don't believe me. It's yeah. And it's free. I don't make any money off of any of that shit. The locality archives, the blogs, the videos, I don't make anything off of that. It's all free. Yeah, the last thing these people want to do is to tell people listening to them to go do their research, because it's not going to take too much research to realize they need to stop listening to these people.
Things before you just fly off the handle and go 10 toes on something like this. Like, don't get me wrong, I stand on 10 toes of everything I believe, but when it comes to stuff like this, before I even knew High Desert Herbs, before he came on this podcast, before we started talking, I looked at this man's pages. I can't back that post at all. And I've talked to some other people about you, even what these guys know, because I wanted to know, bro. I wanted to know the truth. And the truth is, it's not true. It's exactly as you're saying. It's a painted picture.
It's not a painted picture. There's what he said, what he's done, and he literally just explained his business model. Everything in that post they showed was corroborated by his actions and his words. And any of the speculative stuff about like, hey, I can't really trust him, that's a judgment call. And that's a judgment call most people are going to make when he says, I'm going to go out of my way to fuck up the reptile or the retic industry. I'm going to go out of my way to fuck up ternates and halmas. The thing that, like, the fucking glue of dwarf and super dwarfs.
To make somebody look bad, and people bought into it. And that's disturbing.
I've been doing reptiles. I agree with everything you said. I've been doing reptiles for 20 years, and I challenge anybody in any other market to find anybody willing to say a single bad thing about me.
Yeah, you don't want people to do that, because
that should speak for itself, right? Like, it's common sense, guys. So yeah, I agree.
let me add this, right? So way back in my younger days,
Oh my god, this is gonna be dumb.
I was involved heavy in the music scene, from metal to hip hop to country. I was working with some of the biggest bands in the world. I've met some of the biggest rappers and people that you idolize. I have fucking met, shook their hand, had drinks with. And let me tell you, this reminds me a little bit of like the underground music scene where people were cutthroat, trying to shit on one another. But the difference is they had receipts, bro, always. If you got claimed on something, like, you better have proof, bro. Can we get back to that? Like, if you gonna say something, you better have receipts. You better have some proof in what you're saying.
Okay, you hear? I'll read it again. Here's your proof. Here you go, buddy. Here's your proof. Anyways, you're a clown. I'll go out of my way to fuck up your projects in any way I can now. There's your proof, buddy. There's your receipt. Did I come with the receipts, bruh? Was that receipted enough, bruh? 10 toes, bruh.
But I guess it goes back to that earlier part where everyone hides behind the internet. Everyone's got a keyboard. Everyone's got they're protected behind a screen and covering their tracks every way to Sunday because they ain't gonna say nothing to your face. That's the other thing. I want everybody that watches this podcast, from the people, the things being mentioned, to anybody that's unbiased to this, to the ones that are biased to this, to anybody that happens to just pop in and randomly watch this podcast and you get this far in the episode.
They're not going to make it this
Just remember,
far.
it's a fucking keyboard and a screen. Brian, I want to touch on something that you brought up in that spiel that's very important. Your friend that lost his child, I am so sorry for that. I want y'all to remember, and especially the ones making these posts, especially you guys, and I hope you take this to heart. You don't know what somebody's fucking going through, dog. You don't understand the crazy that's on the other side. You don't understand what bear you're poking. I'm not throwing threats. I'm just literally telling you. You don't know what somebody's going through. Whether they go crazy and do something about it, or they end up on a dark path because you ruined somebody's fucking life over some internet bullshit, dog.
I don't think anybody's life's getting ruined over them people complaining about how Brian Whitehead's running his business. And I mean, I'm sorry that somebody's child died of cancer, but this is really off topic and doesn't really apply. I don't even understand what's happening right now.
This shit's unacceptable, man. If you got receipts like the Samson shit, absolutely. Shout out to you guys for exposing that. Like,
I hope they bring up Samson when Garrett's stupid ass is on here. I so fucking hope they bring up Samson. He just said shout out to exposing that. Guess who was real against that being exposed? The person coming on your podcast because of his connection to Samson. That is fantastic. He just said that. I really like this Levi stuff. This Levi guy. He's always saying shit that's just fantastic.
That is one of the biggest things that's happened. Thank you guys. And you know who you are.
Yeah, the people you're bitching about exposing Brian Whitehead and Brian Watkins and Brian Whitehead. Same people, buddy. Same people.
Thank you for doing that. But all this shit that's going on this, and it's not just that group, it's everybody. It's unnecessary. It's so fucking serious too, bro. Like, think about that situation. A man lost his kid. And that's Brian's best friend, bro. He's involved in that. And y'all doing this shit while that's going on? And then I'll throw my own personal experience on there. I lost my mom last month.
That sucks.
And then 3 weeks later, I'm fucking dealing with this shit, man. I'm dealing with triple threats, name being dragged through the fucking mud. I'm watching my fucking family. And don't mistake that. That Bill is my motherfucking family. You don't understand the bear that you Poe bringing his name into this. That's my family. I'm watching my fucking family's name get dragged through the mud, bro. For what?
For putting out stupid information. That's why you're getting your names dragged through the mud. You're doing podcasts saying things that don't make any sense. You're making claims like that Indonesian episode was so bad. That was so bad. Like that, I would take that shit down. It was that bad.
For what? For fucking what? Brian Whitehead, have you ever hurt any of these people? Have you ever went out, attacked them, said anything completely out of pocket about them or their family?
No, I've never even talked to any of them. Never even met them. Never even heard of them.
You said anything about these people? Have you ever gone after them? You ever physically touched them, done anything to physically hurt them, say anything about their family? Nope. Bill, you ever talk to these people? You ever done anything crazy? Hit them in their mouth, talk about their family, anything crazy out of pocket?
Absolutely not.
What about you, Brian Watkins? You ever said anything super out of pocket, just out of line? Just
all the time. Literally all the time. If he says anything other than all the time, like, yes, that's all he does is say stuff out of pocket.
Orderly, ever attacked their family, done anything crazy like that?
Yeah, he threatened. I'm pretty sure he threatened to kill Eric.
I sure as fuck haven't. So why y'all coming after people like this? That's what the...
Who's going after anybody's family? What are you even talking about? Like, this literally makes no sense. I don't even understand what I'm watching at this point.
Fuck, I want to know. This is my crash out part. This is where I take shit personally.
Okay.
Because you assaulting people's names. You dragging their name through the mud, and it's unacceptable.
Then talk to your boyfriend Brian at Hell Creek and tell him to quit dragging everyone's names through the mud in private DMs and saying shit about us and then posting crazy stuff about us in his group. You know what I mean? It's like, see, people that do fucked up things, they just assume everybody else is as fucked up as they are. So since they're doing this stuff, they just assume everybody else is doing it too, and it's not. Like, I'm only doing a reaction to this because, one, I got named, and everybody that actually got through some of this or most of it said, it's so bad, you got to watch it. And I was like, well, if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to turn it into content. I'm not going to literally sit here and watch these idiots talk for 2 hours. Like, I'll make fun of them for 4 hours. I don't have a problem doing that. But I'm not going to just... there's no way I could just listen to this without making fun of it.
And the way it's being done is unacceptable. If you got something to say about somebody, it is what it is. But here, let me show this screenshot, bro. I don't know who this person is. I know what crowd he runs with. But this was set on our YouTube. And Brian, and shout out to your wife. I'm sorry she getting drug into this. But this is fucking unacceptable.
What the fuck? Who said that? That's not me. I did not do that.
You don't do this shit. And let me tell you, I understand. I understand. The internet, the keyboards, right? I understand all of it. So, saying you gonna do something, let me tell you, where I'm from and the people I associate with, if you said this in front of somebody, you wouldn't walk away from them. You wouldn't, whether you were carried out in an ambulance or a body bag. Where I'm from, that shit's unacceptable, bro.
Nobody cares where you're from, and you're not that tough, and there are crazy people in this world that have guns on them at all time. So sometimes you got to let people talk a little shit. So just keep that in mind.
And I was raised that way. I was raised on respect. If that's who you associate with, if that's your crowd, and this goes for our crowd too. If you run around on the internet like that, or you run around in person like that, don't mess with us. Don't follow us. Don't follow me. Bill, Lee, I can't speak for y'all. Brian, I can't speak for y'all. But don't follow me. I don't want nothing to do with that. That's fair. Completely unacceptable. 1v1, we gonna talk shit back and forth. It is what it is. But crossing that line, it's unacceptable. But that's what these posts and these things draw the emotions out of people, and they know exactly what they're doing. It's intentional. Again, I'm gonna go back to the opening statement I made. Yeah, I get it, Rodney. You weren't comparing Bill animal-wise, but you brought Bill and Samson's name into the same thing, trying to draw the same emotion.
No, I wasn't. If you look at Bill's stupid face right now and think about Samson in the fucking his stupid van videos, I'm sorry, he looks and sounds like Samson. I don't know what to tell you.
to shit on Bill. That was your exact result of what you're trying to get. And I get it. You're smart, dude. I'll give you credit where credit's due, but so am I. I'm an antagonist. I'm a fucking asshole. I know how these things work. I know what you up to. It's unacceptable. It's unnecessary. That's my fucking crash out.
Excellent crash out, Levi.
I like it. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Says
I like
amazing.
it.
Well said, my man.
Yep. They should all
Yeah.
clap for him. He clapped for all of them.
Yeah.
Why the fuck aren't they clapping for him?
I
Fucking
mean,
assholes.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. One other negative thing is the gatekeeping, and we've all kind of touched
What
on it
is
in a
that?
different way. And it's these people that are trying to gatekeep. You're not going to touch Turnates or Hamaharas because I'm going to breed them all. And
Who's doing that? Who is gatekeeping Halmas and Turnates? What are they even talking about?
I'm not going to sell them to you, and I'm not going to let the people I sold them to sell them to you. Like, you can't fucking
I'm
do
not
that.
doing
shit.
that.
It's not going to happen. Sorry, it's not.
It doesn't work very well.
No,
It doesn't
you can't
work very well, I
gatekeep
can tell you
with
that
pricing.
much.
See, look how much of a dick he is. Look at oh, dude, look at her. He's just smug and smiling, like, you know. And that's the thing, you know. He doesn't like. This guy tries to paint himself, Brian White, as a good person, but you can see how awful he is. Look at his face. You can just see it. He can't even hide how horrible he is. He's like, oh, it doesn't work very well. Like, and then he wonders why nobody likes him.
Talks.
Yeah. No, I'm just that shit's got to.
Yeah, you know what you guys need to do? If he's going to pay $20,000 for a Turnator 2, sell him a Turnator 2 and then take that $20,000 and come to me and I'll sell you a bunch more.
Stop. Brian Watkins, do you have any more stories of shit that's happened to you?
Here we go. Hold on. I got to Uh-oh. Duran hitting heavy. What's this? Here's what I've learned about the negativity in any facet of life. Two wrongs never make a right. Reacting to negativity with negativity will never make anything positive. Duran's always coming in with that optimism, man. Like, I'll give it to Duran. He keeps it optimistic 100% of the time.
Oh yeah, I do. I had the exact same thing that Brian experienced happen to me like a few years ago, and I think someone actually made a YouTube video about me, and calling me a toxic breeder, don't buy it from me, blah 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 blah, and the guy who made that video, he disappeared. He tried to breed retics, wasn't successful. He dropped off the face of the earth. I have no idea what happened to him, but I mean, and it all stemmed over some like Facebook drama, and all of it taken out of context, and all of a sudden, like, now I'm a mean guy, I'm toxic, and blah blah blah.
Yes,
and it's
Brian,
like, well, when you're I guess arguing with somebody on Facebook, people, it gets elevated, and people, talk shit on one side and respond and talk shit, and it just I don't remember exactly what that was all about. It was really stupid, and I didn't deserve to have that done to me. And at the same time,
well, does anybody deserve the shit that Brian does to them? Does anybody deserve the way he talks about all of us to people? Does anybody deserve the posts he makes about us? Does his customers deserve to get blocked and told that they have to say the things he says and take down posts that he doesn't like? Like, does anybody deserve the shit that they've had to put up with from Brian?
I'm trying to save up money to buy a house, and it bothered me for like a little bit, like for a day or two, but then
a day or two. You've been fighting
backfired.
with everybody since I've known you,
and this people were spreading it around Instagram and Facebook, this meme, don't buy, you toxic breeder alert. It was so really stupid. And I know the person who made it, and the guy's an idiot. It backfired. And everywhere he posted it, people were like, well, what did he do? What's this all about? What did he do? And he couldn't come up with one thing that I did.
I actually remember that. It was somebody new.
Why he was spreading that.
Went after Brian. It didn't actually work very well.
And so it backfired. It increased. I just started selling. I sold out all my snakes like pretty quick. So I mean, that's just the most, I guess, dramatic thing that's happened to me in the past few years. But it's all the same group of people. It's all this. The source is always the same, and
ain't me.
the same instigators. And it's not just.
I hope he's not saying it's me, because if he thinks I'm the source of all the drama and fighting that he deals with, no, the source of all that would be Brian. Like, just like the source of the negativity directed at me, I caused that. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't. I'm not going to pretend like that the negativity surrounds me wasn't my own doing. But Brian, see, this is the thing. He just won't accept that he's ever wrong. And it's like, no, it's not a group of people, Brian. It's you. Just like the negativity that I've brought onto myself is my fault, and I own it, and I don't pretend like it wasn't my fault. So it's like, Brian, like, you do fucked up stuff, more fucked up stuff than I do.
Just in the Superdorf community, it's in the mainland retake community too, and it's the same. And it's the same there, same group of people, you know, that they feel like they. And a lot of them, they're not helpful to new people. They talk shit. They talk down to people, you know, and they're real cliquey. And like Brian mentioned earlier, it's all about money. Basically, is what if you know, boil it down to you know, to the very basic part of it, it's all about money. And these people feel that new people that come on the scene, you know, that are successful. Because I mean, honestly, retakes aren't. For me, I've learned how to do it. They're easy to breed, but for a lot of new people, I remember when I first started, it was hard, and you know, so a lot of people, they come in, and I guess if you're successful at it, you're considered a threat. You know, you're going to potentially, you know, take up someone's market share. You know, you're out there, you're just another person on Morph Market or wherever, King Snakes, selling snakes. You know, you could take business away from them. So they use different, I guess, shady tactics to try to discredit their competition, and they use new people to turn against them, you know, use them as weaponize them, I guess, just like some of these people that we've been talking about and what you've experienced firsthand, Brian. I mean, it's really it's sad. I'm just
nobody is weaponizing anybody against Brian Watkins. He's ridiculous.
I don't ignore it because it has to be addressed. And I think what really pisses me off is the new people are seeing this. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who said they just don't want to have anything to do with Superdorf retakes because of the bullshit they see on these Facebook groups. And I don't know, the people that are trying to...
For sure.
Whose group are they seeing it in? They don't allow it on Retic Nation. They don't allow it in Retic Pursuit. The only bullshit in Next Gen is me making fun of some people, or if there's an actual issue that needs discussed, we allow the discussion to happen. It doesn't happen in Andrew's Dwarf and Superdorf group, and I'm sure it doesn't happen in Garrett's Dwarf and Superdorf group. There's one specific group where a lot of this takes place, and I'll give you a chance to try and figure out whose group it is. It's his. The only stuff that comes up about him is usually addressing his bullshit.
There's out there that are trying to knock their competition down. I don't know if they really realize they're also knocking down customers too. You know, maybe they're knocking down more customers than their competition, and they're actually doing more harm to their business than they think they are. Are they, you know what I'm saying?
Is there some part of his psyche that's trying to like warn him about his own behavior? Because this whole episode with him talking, the main person that needs to hear what he's saying is him. My fucking my fucking battery's gonna die.
I mean, I started breeding retics in my spare bedroom. Okay, I don't, you know, I didn't have a bunch of money to invest in animals. I made some pretty good decisions, built up a small collection, and all the money that I made, I put back into my business. And you know, I'm literally like, you know, a success story. You know, a lot of these people, anybody out there who wants to get into retics and make money, you know, fuck, I did, dude. I bought a house.
Yeah, you're a fucking
nice
success story. All right.
You know, and it happened quick for me too. And now this next year is going to be the best year I've ever had. You know, it's just amazing. I guess when people see that you're doing successful, they just want to talk shit. They're just hating.
Mm-hmm. That's what people are doing.
Yeah,
that's what people are doing.
Well, I know some of it, but I can't wait.
I wanted to make one more point on what Brian said here. I also think that it's worth pointing out the retic community, I agree, seems to think that like to discourage breeding and like competition is a bad thing. And I just want to point out the fact that the reason we all can breed reptiles the way we do is because of where we live and because of how many fucking people in the United States breed reptiles. So my point in this is I am a firm believer that the more people breeding, the more people successfully breeding brings more people into the hobby and the industry. Okay, there is a reason that people like I could not exist in Europe. I could not exist in
you know why you couldn't exist in Europe? Because there isn't enough stupid people to give you money in Europe. The US has a lot more they're just smarter and they treat animals different, and you would be pushed out of the reptile industry in Europe so quickly you wouldn't even stand a chance. Unfortunately, a lot of shit's tolerated in the US.
Canada because there's not as many people doing what we do. The amount of people breeding is what helps to continue to support this entire fucking industry. This industry does not exist in other countries like it does here. Okay? So, this idea to me that it should always, you should never discourage more people breeding. It's always a good thing.
So fucking
sure, the immediate result does drive prices down a little bit, but guys, everybody shits on ball pythons. We all have fucking ball pythons to thank for where we are today with reptiles, right? So the point is, don't all of a sudden, don't always just think that like to limit your competition, because the more people in it, the more people doing this, the better for the longevity of this entire reptile market in the United States, because we have a reptile market like they don't in other places.
Right. USA.
Damn right.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, hell yeah. To add on to that, right? Like, okay, so one of the arguments I've seen firsthand is that, oh, well, there's a limited amount of retics in the country. Okay, cool. But the way that this industry's heading, where nobody wants to breed and sell and deal with retics, when there's nobody around to deal with them, they're going to go extinct in captivity eventually. Of course, maybe a handful of people keep them going, but then it's so limited. Again, who are you selling to? You don't have a market to sell to because nobody wants anything to do with it. And I get the hype and I get the drive behind the super doors, but it's just like Brian said, as a person that has rescued and rehabilitated fucking mainlands, you don't want people buying a shit ton of mainlands. Those are the snakes. Yes, if somebody's going to come in and overproduce mainland reticulated pythons and push them out into irresponsible keepers' hands, we do need to shut that shit down. That's completely unacceptable.
Okay,
those are the monsters. Those are the ones that get neglected, abused, hurt.
But it's okay to push dwarfs and super dwarfs into the hands of people that shouldn't have them. Like, what the fuck argument? It's not. Overproduction is an issue because by the nature of overproduction, it ends up with a bunch of people having them that shouldn't, and it fucking crashes the market.
The horror stories I've seen, first fucking hand with the mainlands, is how I got all this shit started.
May I make a comment? So,
yeah, but super dwarfs are the answer. You get these out there, and they're more manageable. They're easier to take care of. They're not as dangerous, right?
Yep.
So I mainly breed super dwarfs, but I do on occasion will breed some mainland stuff. So I only breed mainland stuff so I could breed it back, take those genetics and breed it back into the super dwarfs. So like Ocelot, Aztec, all that stuff. So really cool stuff. And I agree that people shouldn't be dumping a bunch of mainland stuff out on the market. And I totally agree that there's, breeders need to breed responsibly. And, they need to not just pump a bunch of stuff out into the market and, and be conscientious of that. But at the same time, I every year I produce stuff that's nice, but it's on the lower end. It's more affordable for people. And I look at it as like,
This is
I want to bring new people in.
this
You know what
is
I'm
this
saying?
is boring.
Not everybody can spend $2,000, on their first
Boring.
retake. I go to shows and I have a section, where I have $300, $400, $500 super dwarfs, and then I have another section where it's like $1,000 and over. And people love to come over, dude. I sell all that the lower end stuff, and it's all new people. I make friends with them, and they always come back. They always come back, and they want to spend more money.
His cross monitor is grotesquely
they get bit by
overweight.
the bug. So to me, it's kind of a long-term thing. You're getting people in, and you're building the community, and you're growing interest. But at the same time, I make some nice stuff, that I don't want to let go for cheap, But I'm usually selling that kind of stuff to other breeders. You know what I'm saying? Who are interested in a project or whatever. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and let me tack on to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead. You go.
Let me tack on to that. Let me channel the ball python market, right? When I was learning ball pythons, one of the biggest things I was told was that your high dollar, your super high dollar animals, you're more than likely going to sell to another breeder.
Why?
Unless you got somebody
I gotta
with
speed
big
this up.
pockets
This is
that's
so
heavily
boring.
investing in this, which isn't very often, as much as people think it is. Like some high rollers come in, they buy your high end shit, they clear you out, but that's the exception, not the rule. Your super high end, big dollar ticket items are being sold to other breeders. So if you're limiting breeders, who the fuck are you selling to?
Right.
That's what I want to know. Who are you selling those high ticket dollars up to? Especially in the numbers that people talk about. It doesn't make any sense. You need more people to come in. To do that, you need it to be more affordable.
Yep.
I'm not saying selling for $50 like a normal ball python, and nobody's saying crash the market that way. No way, shape, or form has anybody ever fucking said that. I'm sure they'll spin that some way.
No, but reasonably affordable.
You need to make them reasonably affordable. Again, you got to get them. They got to get bit by the bug somehow. It's like Ryan said. They come back. They buy a higher dollar animal. They start investing. They start wanting to get into this because 1 turns into 2, 2 turns into 3, 3 turns into 4. And again, these are manageable animals for the most part, right? Unless all of what everyone's saying about the SDs are not true. And again, I'm not saying this. I'm just, we're going to spin it that way. If they're unmanageable animals and they're scary like mainlands, and what are we doing here?
Yeah, I got a special term for super dwarfs, and especially like the cheap ones. I call them a certain type of snake. But yeah, they're the gateway drug, if you will, to like getting more. Like you get one of them, people fall in love with them, and they come back for another one. It's what it is. You have to get them in their hands because they're a great animal. You have to grow the market.
This is boring.
You need to have them, and that's my passion. Is I want everyone to have them.
Yeah, everybody needs retakes.
I said this to you guys before. I think that until the day that you can walk into an expo and pick up a super dwarf for the super dwarf cross, of course it's not going to be pure, but like people are into the morphs, right? So until you can walk in and pick up a tiger super dwarf 50% for cheaper than a tiger mainland, I don't think we're doing it right? Like I feel
what he wants, dude, this guy wants to see super dwarf retics tigers cheaper than a super dwarf mainland tiger. They're free. You can't. We're talking sub $100. How fucking stupid is this guy? This is why nobody likes Brian. Listen to his mentality. He wants to see, until super dwarf tigers are cheaper than mainland tigers, we're not doing it right. That shit's gonna be. You'll be lucky to pull $150 on any single visual co-dom incomplete dominant mainland morph. That shit's all heading sub 100. Like, this is how out of touch this guy is with what's actually going on in the retic market.
Like the people that breed the mainlands are putting in more, more into their animals. They're bigger. They should be worth more, honestly. And I understand why they're not. I get it. I get the whole investment thing. I already talked about all that. I get it. But why criticize these people that want to appeal to a lower end market like Brian's talking about and like you guys are talking about?
Nobody's criticizing people that want to appeal to a lower end market. The problem is you're trying to create a lower end market with your business model.
When we can give, like, for example, I specifically bred a line of super dwarfs this past year that is an old school line that I picked up. I paid an arm and a fucking leg for the original pair that I got, and they were completely misrepresented to me. And then when I actually tracked down where they came from, I was like, okay, well, they're this CJ's Pets line. And you know what? It's a great super dwarf line, but I'm not going to sell the babies for $2,000 like I do the pure Calatoas, or even $1,500 because they're old school. But that's a great $600 snake. I have the adults. They're fucking the same size as the Calatoas I have, or maybe a tiny, tiny, tiny bit bigger, but not much. So yeah, that's another thing that I hate is this. You shouldn't be breeding low end super dwarf stuff. That's bullshit. It's exactly what somebody should be breeding. Somebody's got to breed that. It's better than breeding low end mainland shit. So until those
then breed low end stuff. Don't crash a market so it becomes low end stuff. There's a difference.
You were making a great point that I want to jump on. Is those animals are perfect. Those animals that everyone's trying to get out of the market, the unknown localities, the old schools, they're perfect for this industry and they're perfect for this market for the reason being is they're a smaller snake. Yeah, they can be a definite locality, so they're going to be more affordable for other people to get a smaller snake, but they're also guilt-free for breeding morphs into. You know, as these pure localities become rarer and rarer and rarer, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to stomach putting a fucking morph to it when you could put a pure to it and make more pure.
I agree. I totally agree.
Scarce.
I totally agree with that point too. I totally agree with that. That's a great point. I love pure shit. That's another weird misconception. I love pure shit. I'm the type of person that, and Brian and I have talked about this because he likes like the, you know, bad eaters and shit. I don't like that stuff. I like pure stuff. Like,
I do like that
really
shit too. I do like that shit too, Brian. I do.
Hey, to each their own. Like I said, breed what the hell you want. You know, that's my big thing. Breed what you want. Everybody should breed what they want. If everybody liked the same shit, we'd be living in a real boring freaking world. I'll tell you that much.
Bad eaters are acceptable, other hybrids are not. I'm just putting that out there.
For me, I'm one of those people. I'm not a purist in that sense. I don't hate hybrids. I hear like, hey, I bred these two things together. I'm like, I want to fucking see it. What does it look like? Well,
dude, the tree monitor
is this almost
hate,
done?
Like the idea of hybridizing tree monitors, and I totally understand.
10 more
I would
minutes.
never do it. I would never do it, and I would never advocate anybody doing it. At the same time, if somebody did it, and it's been done before, if somebody did it, I wouldn't fucking give them shit for doing it. Yeah. Again, breed what you want. Somebody wants to see what a fucking green-blue tree monitor looks like, right? So yeah, I don't know. That's just my thing. Not my thing. I will never do it. Just to be clear. But I'm also never going to fucking hang somebody up.
I bet you he would start doing it in a second if they were worth a ton of money.
Right. All right, boys. We got 9 minutes left. Let's try to talk about some positivity. And Bill, I want you to kick us off on this.
Oh, here we go.
All 5 of us.
So they talked for an hour and 50 minutes about negativity. They're going to throw 9 minutes on positivity.
I would say out of the 5 of us, you hold the path for positivity. I look at the comments, look at all the people in your store. You've united a family of people together in store. You built this expo. You've done wonderful things for the Arizona market. Dude, and just as a quick example, I'm not going to drop any names, but another person that I look up to highly in the Arizona community, and Bill didn't see eye to eye for the longest time. And it's one of the most gut-wrenching things for me, to be honest with you. It was one of the, like, I didn't want to feel like I was playing both sides.
Oh my
I want to
God.
be one shop or the other. It was just super uncomfortable. But I'll tell you right now, I was there when Bill mended the bridge. He figured out a way. He got it done. And they're cool. They're going to be doing an expo together. That's just the type of person that Bill is. He mends bridges. He brings people together. We're about to see a huge one come down the pipe here in a few episodes. You lead the way with positivity, Bill, and I've got the fucking receipts and I've got the evidence to prove it. You kick this shit off, my man.
Oh, here we go. 9 minutes of positivity.
It boils down to just trying to be kind, just trying to be. I mean, at the root of it, you're just trying to be a good person. All these bad things that have been mentioned. What kind of a community is this? You know, and when you hear this kind of stuff going on, it's really discouraging for a lot of people. And like you said, we want to grow the reject market. We want more people into it. What a fantastic animal! What a wonderful snake. So. Staying positive would be to try to ignore the negativity. Just, in my opinion, don't acknowledge it. Just.
Then don't acknowledge it. Then stop talking. I mean, you guys spent 2 hours droning on about people pointing out shitty things you're all doing. You know, and that's the thing. Like, this is what Garrett did. He threw the negativity drama label on anything that was critical of Garrett or his misinformation. It was negativity and drama. And that's what these guys are doing. They're not taking any responsibility. In some cases, they're flat out lying. Brian's pretending to be this super nice guy when all he does is fucking cause problems on Facebook. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Just forget about it. You know, address it if you completely have to, but try to stay out of it the best you can. Do it the Garrett Hartle way. You don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
You know? And that's just like how you got to approach it, because you can't stop these people from doing it. All you can do is...
Garrett ignored the negativity and drama to the point that it destroyed his business. That's what happened with Garrett. Because it wasn't negativity and it wasn't drama. It was issues he should have addressed. And he ignored them till it destroyed his business.
Just educate the community that this shit's going on, man. What the fuck? And now maybe some new people watch this and think, maybe you know, there's things about those guys aren't really all that true. Maybe I do want to buy a snake from them. That's what we're talking about.
No, this is going to hurt them.
Let's get Brian Watkins and let's get Garrett Hartle on a podcast together.
Yep,
they're
do
both
that.
good people. I know them both very well.
Do that.
And
end it
a
for
lot of
both
things they
of
didn't see
them.
eye to eye on. But you know what? They went through it. They did it like I would do it, and they're being men about it. And now they're going to join a nice podcast together. And I think that right there is a community unification.
Yep, unified as fuck.
Absolutely.
100% it is. And let me tell you, I'm fucking excited for that episode. Have you two Titans in the room together and be able to have a conversation?
Titans.
Yeah.
Titans.
I can't wait. Yeah, I had a great conversation with him a couple days ago, and I have a lot of respect for him. He really has done a lot.
Really?
for the
That's
community, you know.
amazing. That's amazing, Brian, because all you ever did was talk shit on the podcast when I'd bring you on is talk shit on Garrett. When you weren't even talking, he wouldn't even talk shit. He would just tell the truth about Garrett. But he won't even do that anymore. These people are all so desperate. It's ridiculous.
Regardless of what people think or say about him, I think he's another person. He's at the top, man, and people don't get jealous. I don't like people who are at the top, and they want to talk shit. And he may say things that some people might disagree with, and that's cool. I mean, it's America, man. Fuck, I say things too that people may disagree with. So it's as long as it's like what you guys are saying. As long as there's unity, we come together and we share ideas, we learn from each other. That's what's most important.
Exactly, and I'll bring it back to cars because that's what I do. Chevy over Ford all day. I said it. It is what it is. We can argue. We can debate. I ain't never got into it with a Ford guy to where we're damn near fucking ruining each other's lives.
Hell yeah, man.
We go insults back and forth. We have fun with it, and it's just it's an argument at the end of the day. That's how not agreeing on things are supposed to go. We agree to disagree at the end of the day, or we find points that we agree on, and that's where we sit. There's a middle ground for literally everything, and the world has devolved into such a I can't agree with you, so I hate you. Okay.
Well, one of the things that got me into reptiles.
Actually, what got you into reptiles?
Well, when I was younger, I used to watch shows like Nova and stuff like that, and it really sparked my interest. And I think the main motivator for me is education, learning. That's what I'm into these reptiles for, is to learn stuff about them. And I like to share what I learn with other people. I could talk for hours, to any one of you or anybody else about any type of different reptile. That's the fun part about it. That's what keeps me here. That's what keeps me doing this.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
I just want to say one thing too. I am so happy that Brian Whitehead is continuing on with the retics. This is exciting, guys. This is great.
Everybody's
he didn't let them win. He didn't let them chase him off. He jumped in with both feet and said, "Fuck it," even in his toxicity. And I'm hats off to you for that, bud.
And I won't be deterred. I love the retics, and I hope. So here's my vow. We're talking positivity and stuff. I firmly believe that, again, there's no place for negative comments on anybody's Facebook posts and shit like that. And that is the easiest, I guess, like vow is you will never see me ever negatively post on someone's Facebook post ever.
Well, we're gonna see about that, dude. I love how anything counter to somebody's personal opinion or criticism of their behavior they consider negative. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And that's kind of a vow I'm making. I'm not engaging in that shit moving forward with people. And I mean, I think it's a little different when you approach somebody in private. But anyway, I agree that there's not a place for that. And I think that's one thing that, I feel pretty comfortable saying moving forward, that I'm not partaking in bashing of anybody's posts. It's all just positive comments. Hey, nice job, or, shit like that. And that single step, like if you don't feel the need to make a negative comment or bash somebody, like that single step alone makes such a massive difference.
Yeah, real.
100% agree with that. Oh, by the way, let me state this. This is the one and only episode I'm crashing out in this form of. This is the only response I'm making. This is the only time I'm talking about this. I'm not going to respond to shit moving forward. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care what anybody has to say in the comment section. I'm not responding. I'm talking for myself here. I had to defend my fam. I had to defend our podcast. I got to defend both the Bryans. Defend Lee. That's what this episode is. It's a one and done for me, and I'm not engaging in this shit anymore. This isn't for...
Well, it's not a good idea to bring me into things if you're not looking for an argument. So maybe my name shouldn't have got brought up in this podcast if you guys aren't looking for a decade-long argument.
Clicks. This isn't. It was supposed to be for clicks. I'll keep it 100 with you. It was more of a clickbait title. Let's have fun with it. But it got serious quick. So I don't want to do this shit again. I'm not about the drama. I'm not about the nonsense. If you want to talk, we can talk face to face. I don't talk on the fucking internet, bro. We can go face to face at an expo. That's how I do things. Everybody in the Arizona market knows I'm at every fucking expo. If you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation in person. Let's actually get to fucking know each other. So there's a little bit more personable action there, accountability.
Yep, I agree.
And we'll be at other shows around the country down the road. So don't agree. We ain't leaving out the East Coast.
All right, boys, that was great. It's a long one, but it was a good one. It needed to be done.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. Thanks. Hey, I appreciate you guys having me.
Come on, please be done.
Thank you for coming on, guys. Both of you. Really appreciate
it. And if anybody wants to join a positive Discord, we're send us a message on Triple Threat IG. If you want to be part of the community, we're starting a Discord of like-minded people.
Yeah, follow
people
Brian
that don't know anything about retics?
Instagram, Facebook. Are you on TikTok, bro?
Nope.
Okay.
Just
Facebook,
Facebook High Desert Herps, and Facebook is High Desert Herps, and Instagram is HDH_reptiles.
All right. What about you, Mr. Watkins? Oh, sorry.
Appreciate it.
Anybody want to find out information about me or my social media or what I have for sale? It's all on my website down there, hellcreekreptiles.com.
Love it.
Let's go. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Triple Threat Retics. Boys, I think we out of here.
Yep. Take us home. Take us home, Levi.
Peace, guys. Take care.
Oh, fuck. That was awful. That was awful. That was painful. So, I guess I gotta fix this. I mean, I think Brian Whitehead did a ton of damage to himself in this. I guess if my assessment of this 2 hours of stupidity, I got a fucking cat hair in my mouth, is that he did a massive amount of damage to himself. He, with backtracking and trying to explain that nonsense on lineage, and then pretty much just telling you that he's going to produce tons of stuff and undercut people, talking about how awful the retic community is. I mean, it was not a good look. I can't imagine, besides the idiots riding dick in the comments, I can't imagine anybody's going to look at this and think, this guy's all about the animals, man. This guy, he's all about making retics great and pushing them forward. And Brian Watkins, I mean, everybody's just going to, everybody watch this, they're just like, who the fuck is this guy? Okay, because this was like some Jekyll and Hyde shit for podcast versus Facebook. It's not even the same human being. I don't think Levi and Lee, I think they mean well, to be honest. But I think here's something that's weird that's happened. I'm going to use Garrett as an example. Everybody who thought Garrett was their friend in retics had to learn the hard way. He's not their friend. And I just hope Lee and Levi don't have to learn too many things the hard way when it comes to some of this stuff. And this was a really bad look for Brian Whitehead. Like, that's my assessment of this podcast, was everything that was negatively said about him, he corroborated in his attempt to make himself look better. So, but yeah, that's what I got to say about this. This part 2 wasn't as exciting. It was just dumb and boring and long. But I made it through it, like like I said I would. I don't know if these people went back and watched this, but if they did, I hope they realized that it was horrible and stupid and was actually going to do more damage to them than anything. So, but that's it. And I hope you guys somehow managed to enjoy this. Hopefully I was ridiculous enough to make it tolerable, which, if I wasn't, I'll try harder next time, because they're putting out a morph or locality episode. So I'm sure that will be amazing. So, all right, later.